there, and welcome to the first episode of the Dropfleet Commander painting series. In this episode, we're going to paint the UCM Frigates. I will present two options for the paint scheme, and you can use the one you prefer. Let's begin. First of all, we need to cut out all the parts, and we'll use a pair of clippers and switch to a knife when handling delicate parts. After that, we can scrape off any imperfections and mold lines holding the knife at an angle. The kit allows construction of 5 frigate classes. I will assemble mine as the Taipei, the Jakarta, the Lima and the New Orleans class. If you find some small gaps between the parts after assembly, you can fill these with some glue. I have covered the ships in a grey primer and will now paint the hull. For this I'm going to use a 2-to-1 mix of cold steel and Bastion grey with a small amount of black added to it. In order to make the strike carriers stand out, I won't darken their base color. This might not be the best idea from a tactical standpoint. Using pure cold steel, we can pick out the engines and the cannons. I will use Quicksilver to pick out the smaller details such as the laser defense batteries and escape pods. And the last detail to paint before we apply the shade is the scanner array on the Lima-class frigate. For this we can add an equal amount of dark sea blue to the original darkened hull color. We will now apply a global shade to the entire model to accentuate the details. For this I'm going to use black wash filled with some Lamian medium to make the effect less dramatic and dull. I will apply a single layer to the strike carriers and 2 to the rest of the models. I will strengthen the shade between the cannon barrels and the inside atmospheric intakes with undiluted shade. To emulate the accumulation of suits, we can continue with finned Agrax Earthshade applied to the engines. I will use multiple layers of this, which I draw towards the end. Each layer will cover a smaller area than the previous, which will create a seamless transition from steel to an opaque brown. Our first highlight is a much needed one as it will define the shape of the ship, using Quicksilver mixed with a small amount of Dawnstone. We can then carefully apply this to the edges of the hull panels. We don't need to paint all the panels, what's important is that we spread our highlights evenly across the miniature. I will also paint the underside, but this can be considered as optional since it isn't viewed during gaming. Some cold steel can be used modestly on the cannons and engines, and I take care to leave the recesses untouched. And Quicksilver, which I will apply to the laser batteries, the escape pods, as well as the embarkation decks. A few small glints can also be added to the main weaponry. An optional touch is to pick out the optical discs with a mix of white and quicksilver. Using Agrax Earthshade, I will tone down the embarkation deck a bit. I'll be leaving small pools of it to suggest some weathering. We can go ahead and brighten the scan array with an equal mix of dark sea blue, Dawnstone and quicksilver. I will lightly dry brush the ends to create a rough transition. After that, we can add more quicksilver and focus the dry brush to a small area at the ends. Let's move on to the final details. I will mix black and Stegadon skin green equally and use this to start working on the engine burn effect. Then I will progressively paint a smaller and smaller circle using brighter paints. Firstly, a 1-to-1 mix of Stegadon Scale Green and Teclis Blue. It's okay if the circle is a little uneven and jagged, as this only adds to the final result. We continue with pure Temple Guard Blue. And a small dot of white. The comms and the gravity nullifiers will be base coated with black. Inch highlighted with Dark Reaper. And Thunderhawk Blue. Any mistakes can be tidied up with the original base color. To bring some warmth to the miniature, I will pick out the missiles using Scarlett blood. Optionally, you can pick out some of the tips of the comms and gravity nullifiers, as well as a few armor panels with white. Having a unique coloration pattern for each ship is a great way to achieve identity and variation. White can also be used to mark the firing arcs and the observation deck. For the narrow arc, I will use Dawnstone thickened with Trollblood highlight, since mine is somewhat thin. Now we can add the stickers and assemble the miniature using superglue. The name tags have to be cut to fit the base ring. And this completes the UCM Frigates. Hope you have enjoyed the tutorial. As always, any feedback is greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching.